All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 73 of Top Tier Podcast. My name is Pale Poppy.
Nick Hogan here.
Man, we got some fire topics this week. I mean, we know you dudes gonna be mad in the comments. You got, especially on those basketball videos, you guys be arguing about the most ridiculous stuff. I'm just remember, I'm the guy who just casually sees basketball stuff. So I'm just looking at it like, dang, is it that serious?
You said enough to make him upset. Apparently, all we said was that LeBron was the best player of all time.
This guy was like,
I don't even think we said he was the best. I think we just said he was the second best.
He was like, you guys clearly, you said Kobe's in the top 5. You guys don't know what you're talking about. I was like, well, damn.
Some nigga, dude, I saw the stupidest comment. Some nigga said that LeBron James is just the modern Robert Horry. I'm like, what the fuck? You don't even know who that is, do you?
No, that's what my eyes were like.
That's why it just doesn't make any sense. But we're not gonna get into sports yet. We wanted to start with PinkyDoll.
So again, for those who don't know who PinkyDoll is, she's the girl, the NPC girl who's like, pop, pop. Yes.
Feeling like a cowgirl. Let me ride it.
Yeah, just like hours. She make money though. She making bands, but hours.
She said she makes about $2K a stream.
2K? I thought she was making like 20K a stream. That was when she was like at her height though, I think.
Yeah, maybe at the peak.
At the peak. 2K
is still nice though. I'll take 2K.
Imagine she had a loyal fan base and she was making like 1 to 2K for the next couple of years. She's good for
people stand her. I think people stand her. I mean, she was the one that she got the whole NPC thing popping. I'm sure it was a thing before her, but everybody now is even celebrities. They said Timbaland was her biggest contributor, biggest tipper.
Yeah, man. So anyway, she went to the Streamies, which I didn't even know was a thing until we started researching topics this week. I was just like, what the fuck is that? I said SBs for a second. I was like, SBs? And Nick was like, SBs? I was like,
no, the Streamies, it's like their little Grammy show, right?
Yeah, it's like their Oscars for like people like pop culture, TikTok, streamers, anybody really in internet culture. They get an award. I think Mr. Beast was there one year, if I remember correctly. Yeah. There's no way he wouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. So anybody who's really big in that, that content generation sites like YouTube and TikTok, social media, they would be there. And she came out on stage and people was like, who is this Negro? Basically. Like, who is this Negro? Like,
why? Was the crowd like, what happened?
It wasn't the crowd, but like social media was like, who is this Negro? Because if you've seen her, she's more racially ambiguous. She's very light skinned. She's usually wearing like a blonde wig, right?
Racially ambiguous, that nigga, she looked like a nigga to me.
Okay. She's a light-skinned Negro. Let me correct myself.
She don't look light-skinned.
She looked like a light-skinned Negro, and then she came on stage and she was much darker skinned. Which is nothing wrong with that. She looked better to me. She looked 10 times better. I think she's pretty.
That's because we like the melanin.
That's what I'm saying. She looked 10 times better to me. Now she was beautiful already to me, just seeing her, on streams and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like the internet was in a firestorm. They was holding her face up next to Sammy Sosa, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" So I think
because on the streams, she looks a little lighter.
It's not even a little, bro. It's night and day.
I was trying to be nice.
It's like this. It's like the back of my hand and my palm. It's like the back of my hand and my palm. You see this? People watching
she has
YouTube.
A lack of melanin. So people are saying that she whitewashed, right?
Yeah,
like
people are saying she's doing whiteface and she's whitewashing. And I think there's a lot of questions that come out of this is, do you think this is some kind of grift? Do you think she's aware of people's colorism and she was like, I'm going to get a bag. I can get a bag. I can make a character, use filters, put on makeup, sell a whole character. I'm just playing a role. Do you think she's grifting?
When I watch, before I get to the grifting question, I'll answer that too. But when I watch the streams, when I'm on TikTok and I see her clips, her entire body looks like it's the same complexion.
Yes, it does.
So do we really think she would go as far? It might just be lighting. It might just be lighting. Do we really think she'd go as far as to cover her entire body with like lightening cream? I don't think so.
That's a good point, but I'm also like, who knows? The filters might be advanced, bro. Maybe it is like some kind of
for
AI
an entire
filter.
body.
I don't know. I don't. If you see the video, it's like there's no way. Like
there's no filter. She's
doing some kind of trickery. I don't know what she's doing some kind of tech wizardry because I don't know what's going on.
So you think she's making her skin lighter?
Yes. I don't think it's lighting. Why would the lighting be terrible at an award show?
I guess.
And there was other photos too. Like the photo I saw before I saw the SB one, or sorry, I see I messed it up. Streamy's one was it was just like a different photo of her, like her normal skin, how she normally looks off stream. I was like, well, damn.
I saw she was being recorded by TMZ. TMZ went to go talk to her, and they approached her about the lightening of the skin and stuff like that. And in the TMZ footage, she looked pretty similar to what she looks like on camera. We could put it up.
We're gonna put it up in a YouTube video
just so people could see what we're talking about. She looks like she's the same complexion to me, but I do know what you're saying because I have seen the footage of her. Like at the streamies, I've seen footage of like her OnlyFans, for example, and she does look darker. Yeah, we could get to that too. We can get to the OnlyFans leaks too.
Kanye, as people were saying, Kanye blew up the spot when he won Drink Champs. He was like, "Yeah, man, OnlyFans leaks on Reddit." I'm like, nigga, you're a billionaire. Like, you can't throw somebody $5 and cancel it. A
billionaire can't watch porn? Oh, that's what you're saying. Like he didn't want to afford it.
Like, you can't throw someone $5 because dudes have this mindset that it's not.
No, I'm gonna get it for cheap.
But dudes have this mindset that it's simping, even though I do think it's like kind of simping. So I get where he's coming from. If you buy an OnlyFans, because you might as well look at the leaks. Like it's like a pride thing. But my
it's
dude,
for free.
But my dude, like you're a billionaire. Throw somebody $5.
I ain't paying the $5.
Throw somebody $10. Stop playing around. That's my only. Like I'm like I'll hold that to anybody, but anybody whose net worth is over like $10 million. Then I'd be like, all right. Dude, throw him the $5. Like
I ain't subscribing to shit. I'm sorry. I'm getting all that shit for free.
Throw him the $10. Like, come on, man.
Nah. I ain't paying the $5. Like Martin said. No, what would we say? Is it a grift? Is it a grift? Well, yeah. Yeah, it's a grift. If you're gonna lighten your skin, you're gonna go the Sammy Sosa route. And I almost threw in Michael Jackson, but I understand he had a condition, so I ain't gonna go there. But if we're being honest, the nigga did lighten the skin. Like, if we being honest, the nigga did do it. But yeah, that's a grift because we all know the racially ambiguous chick where it's like, oh, is she black or is she just exotic? That's a big thing. Like people are really attracted to that right now.
The mixed baby shit where they don't like black people. Like mixed babies are so cute though. You know?
And with curly hair, they just they look so exotic, right? That's what they said. They look so exotic. So yeah, I mean, if she did that,
and she's catering to clearly more of an American audience, even though she's French. I think she's Canadian, but she's like French Canadian.
She's Canadian.
Yeah, but she's probably lives in like Quebec or somewhere they speak a lot of French. Clearly,
yeah, because that voice, damn.
She has an accent. Yeah.
That voice is annoying as fuck. She really talks like that too. I thought she was putting on a character, but she really talks like that.
Yeah, bro. She's she's definitely. You can hear the accent. She's definitely from like Quebec or somewhere they speak a lot of French in Canada. I think it is. Like me personally, like that's a hustle. Like, do you really think she would be as successful if she wasn't skin bleaching or pretending or baiting? She's baiting people out. Like if she was her normal skin color doing it, I don't think she would have caught as much traction.
Well, who are her supporters? Do black people like her or do white people like her? That's really the question.
I don't know. I don't know enough about her to know.
Who knows?
But Timbaland is an OG black guy, producer, famous black, produced so much music, popular music. Dude's a legend, don't get enough credit. Probably a lot of black people follow her. Probably do. I mean, if Timbaland...
The people I talk to that like her are all black people.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? But she probably would, obviously, we all know, that white mediocrity is a thing. So the lighter you are, the more odds that you're going to be popular. It's just based off of the whiteness. It's just a privilege that the lighter skin has.
And before y'all get mad about what he was saying, everyone is aware that
we all know it.
Black people make the trends on TikTok. There was a whole like TikTok boycott a few years ago. But the people who get famous doing it, I mean, it's not this. I mean, you'll see it on what I did on YouTube, but like, come on, man. It's very obvious, especially on TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what the world is, man. Like, you can look at any industry. If there's somebody who has a high amount of talent and they happen to have darker skin, they're probably not as likely. We've seen it time and time again. They're probably not as likely to become as popular as a lot of the people that have lighter skin. It's just it is what it is. There's a reason why Zendaya is like the biggest black actress right now instead of like fucking,
especially like on Netflix the last couple of years. A lot of the most popular people who come off of Netflix are just on these like Netflix shows. If they have a black character, they're always mixed or racially ambiguous or look like what a Pinky doll would look like. Y'all can get mad, but let's just be honest.
All they want. Let's just be honest. That's what it is. That's what
the majority of people who fill these black roles and get these opportunities are usually very more racially ambiguous, or they're black, but they're much lighter skinned. They got looser curl pattern. Like, let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, like, a lot of the white girls, they tan their skin to look racially ambiguous, because you add that little pinch of melanin, like you sprinkling salt.
Because you can get away with it. You can like, see, we're diverse. Look at her skin.
That too.
Like the blackfishing. Because I feel like, thick, got ass, and you racially ambiguous. That's the thing.
it's sad, but it's true.
That's the thing that's in. That's the beauty standard right now. Y'all can get mad.
And speaking of black women, we all seen that video of the girl getting hit with the brick. Do we know her name?
I don't know her name.
Did she even release her name? I don't even think she released her name.
I don't. But she was on social media figure. I did not see her name. But for those who don't know,
doesn't matter though.
There's a Somali American woman, and she got hit by a brick by a Haitian man, a Haitian American man. That's not funny, bro. Come on.
It's only funny because who was the comedian that said, like, you're gonna get hit with a brick? I'm gonna hit you with a brick.
But like,
who was that?
It sounds
Red
funny.
Fox or something.
When you think about Friday, but like, dude, like a fucking brick. Like, do you know how heavy that shit is? Like,
that's serious.
That's like taking like.
She could have got killed.
That's like going to the gym and taking a 30-pound dumbbell, just like take this, nigga, like dead. Like I swear I've seen a movie where somebody got killed with like a fucking dumbbell. I can't think
it's only comical because of the fact that she got hit with a brick. That's the only reason. Like, just that sentence alone is the only part that's funny. It's not funny that she got hit with a brick, but
yeah. So a lot of people are going around, and I don't know if you guys seen the pictures of. You just look up Somali girl gets hit with a brick, you'll find it. But her face is like extremely swollen.
Everywhere.
Like, he did damage. Like, I just cannot imagine,
dude.
There's no way that wasn't a KO for one. There's no way that wasn't a KO.
She was down. I hate that I'm laughing at it, but this shit, you can't lie. This shit is kind of comical.
And then, like, somebody needs to beat that dude's ass. But beyond that, I think the larger conversation around it that people are having, and we kind of touched on this a little bit when we talked about the Sha'Carri topic, where, if something's positive, there's unity. But when something negative happens, it always... And you know what? I can't even say that, because in this case, it's kind of flipped around.
Both ways.
It goes both ways, because what I'm seeing in this case is people are like, black men are so bad. Black men need to do better. And then people slowly get to black American men are the problem. I'm like, right. Hold on. This was a Haitian man.
Yeah, did we even know if the man was a black American man?
We know he was Haitian.
Know that.
But exactly. Y'all don't even know that. Y'all just, the first thing you assume is like, oh, them niggas, them black, them Makadas. Oh, you know how they do. Like, no.
Because I think it's a thing. I think there's a stigma that black men don't protect black women. So as soon as you see an example of a woman being attacked by a black man, that's you're just gonna automatically jump to conclusions and be like, oh, okay, we already know this is a black American man because black American men don't protect black American women. That's probably the reason why people jump to conclusions on that.
And I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that we don't have domestic abuse problems, but I'm not even just trying to project on other groups, but like the world has domestic abuse problems, especially outside the United States. I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying when shit like this happens, let us be specific. When bad stuff happens, don't just say, oh, them black men, because then everybody always thinks it's us, right? Because there's a lot of confusion over ethnicity and race. Because when you have your ethnicity is also your race. In America, people throw it around interchangeably,
but
and
globally, there's a difference. Globally, there's a difference. Amongst everybody, there's a consensus that there's a difference.
There might be ethnic groups broken up there and tribal groups broken up there, but there's a consensus. Like for us, we're Americans. Of course, that's our nationality, but it gets broken up further that we're black Americans. It's very specific. But a lot of people come over and they'll say, I'm Nigerian American, I'm Somali American, I ain't like them. Then some shit happens and all of a sudden we all black now. No, let's keep it specific. That's all I'm trying to say is let's keep it specific.
No, I understand. But it is kind of sad though. Like, the situation that happened, when you kind of think about it, it's like, because I've seen time and time again, the most recent one, and it wasn't how do I say it? It wasn't like a physical assault where it's like someone's attacking somebody with like putting hands on them.
Right.
But like, remember when that little like that little rapper dude, I don't even know his fucking name because he's so irrelevant, but he went up and kissed Suki. Hold on, I fucked up my audio again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I fucked up my audio. But no, he went up and kissed Suki. and just like mouthed her down. And everybody was having the conversation of like, why don't black men step up to protect? And we don't have to make it black men. Just why don't men in general ever show out to protect women? Like, how you gonna let this woman get hit with a brick and no one does a fucking thing? Like, why? Obviously, she's gonna be the one that goes to the internet and talks about it, obviously, because it happened to her. But like, why wouldn't anybody step in and protect them? The footage that I saw, I don't see anybody stepping up to protect that woman.
No, and people who were there, even though I don't know if I agree with this guy, I don't know if he's telling the truth, but he was there apparently. But he said that the lady's a troublemaker. She's a known troublemaker in the community. That doesn't justify shit. I don't care what somebody was doing. Unless your life is threatened and you don't have any other weapon but a brick, there's nothing you can say that can convince me that they asked him, why didn't he intervene? He said she was a troublemaker. But I mean, if you just thought it was just an argument, why would you intervene? If you just thought it was an argument about somebody who's a known troublemaker, I'm going to keep walking by. If the nigga's going
to pick up a brick, he's not going to do that in one swift motion. That nigga had a brick waiting for her. Nobody stepped in. That's the thing.
That is a good point. Because he had a brick. Dudes could have stopped him.
Yeah. What about his homies? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a larger conversation at play there where it's like, men don't ever step up to protect women. That's the issue.
I see what you're saying. Because a lot of people were saying when that older black man was getting attacked in Montgomery, he was protected. Would it have been the same if it was a black woman? I saw a lot of people say that, but I really believe, at least in that scenario, especially if a black woman been attacked, they would have got hit with more chairs. I really believe that.
I don't know, man.
I really believe that.
You know,
because remember, there's a cultural element. There's a cultural element there where I feel like.
Speak to that, yeah.
I feel like in this case, a lot of the people I'm seeing who was there weren't Black American. I'm not saying Black Americans don't have domestic violence issues, but I really feel like that's more in the household versus if somebody's doing some foul shit in public. I believe somebody would have stepped in.
You would hope so, but time and time again, that does not happen. It's like, and this is completely different again. It's not like a physical assault in the same way it is kind of a physical assault, but like, everybody knows, and I'm gonna have to blank this word, but everybody knows, like all women know a man or a woman that has been raped, but no man knows a rapist. It kind of plays it to that.
That's like, a good point. That's an amazing point because that's absolutely true. At least in my experience, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, and it's like, what's up with that? It's because men don't put themselves out to protect women. There's something there. I don't know what that is. I wish I could speak to that. I don't have enough experience around it or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But there's something there that I think that's the crux of the issue, and that's the thing that needs to be addressed with this particular situation.
And that's what's crazy about what you just said is just like, I see these scenarios where these dudes be in the locker room just joking about rape and shit in movies and shit. I'm like, that could not go down in my experience. Like I
told you about the guy.
I could never, because I've never experienced it because I'm like, nigga, like, you're a freak. I don't know what to say. I'm like,
I told you about the guy that I used to know back in San Francisco during, and he used to like put on a show in front of women as well of him like simulating rape. I told you about that.
Like, what happened then? Like, what was what happened while he was doing it? All these people in the room, I'm assuming like a kickback or a party.
Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What the fuck is this guy doing? But then again, like to the conversation that we're having, everybody's obviously going to say like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop that. But no one's like stepping in. There were women around, right? And I can even speak to myself. Like, that's something I should have checked myself on now that I think about it.
To be that brazen.
But for me to not even like
that
myself, I can speak to myself.
Some other shit in private.
For me to not even to like step up and physically stop that mess. With the women that I brought into the house are around looking at this nigga that I fucking live with do that shit. And I'm not even going to step in and be like, bro, you need to stop this. I'm just vocalizing it. Like, no, there's a level of protection that men just we don't go above and beyond to protect our women.
I think it's mainly just, you don't want to, and I'm not saying he was a homie, he was like a roommate in this case, but maybe you just don't want to disturb the peace in the future. But like, and I'm not saying I think back then I probably would have just pulled him aside in private. I don't know if I had the balls. Now I wouldn't have given a fuck. But like back then, I don't know if I had the balls to really check him right there. But I definitely would have pulled him aside. Probably immediately after, if he walked away in the bathroom, like, dude, come on, bro. Guys, that was out of pocket. You know that wasn't right. Like, please do not do that. Period. But especially not around the women who are sitting right there. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you making us all look bad, especially.
Yeah.
And it's just, I have to wonder what you're doing in private.
And now everybody's wondering about the other guys too.
Exactly.
Y'all just gonna let this happen?
Y'all just gonna co-sign this mess? The brick thing, the last thing I really wanted to say was just like, what do you feel about the people trying to justify it by saying she's a troublemaker? By saying, because she has a lot of videos where she's like slapping people, and a dude said she was like slapping a whole bunch of white people and like all kinds of stuff. And she was
nobody
around.
deserves to get hit with a brick. And I'm also not even gonna go as far as say that she deserved it also, because that's the same thing that men always say with anything that regards like women. It's always the woman's fault, right?
Right.
It's always that's what men are always. They always lean in that way. Even like with the Tory Lanez situation. You know, that was a physical domestic assault. And there's always somebody out there, it's mostly men, that are always going to say like, well, she shouldn't have been in that moment, or she shouldn't have put herself out in that situation, or something that she should have did correctly, quote unquote, that almost in a way justifies the situation that happened. No one ever puts the fault completely on the man.
Where do you think that comes from? Because you got dudes who just are like women haters. Like they just live and breathe like a 4chan racist, just with a clan robe. They like that about women.
I really have no idea, man.
Still want to have sex and all kinds of stuff and be in a relationship, but they got that kind of hate in their heart.
I guess it's just and it's sad to say, but I think it's just an internal misogyny that most men have. And
you think it's
until you really find the crux of that issue, you're not going to be able to find a solution to that.
You think it's like innate? I've heard some, like, I don't know. I feel like I watched like a lot of serial killer movies growing up, where a lot of the dudes was like their mom mistreated them, so that's how they get their rage out. Like they hate all women or something ridiculous.
I think it's the same thing as like the internalized racism or the internalized white supremacy. I think it's just when you grow up in a culture that has a dominant force, you might not even be aware of the fact that you have misogynistic tendencies and you have misogynistic ideologies or viewpoints or even behaviors, but it's in you. And until you really identify that and find a solution to that, find resolve for that, you're just going to go along with that until somebody calls it out or a situation happens to you where you got to go to jail or whatever, or, you act out, you lash out. That's probably the only thing that's going to make you aware of that for most men. And I could probably include myself in that, sadly. That's sad. You're not aware of the things that you don't know.
Exactly. You can't, and we've said this before about like internalized, like you just said, from races. You can't live in, especially American society, and not internalize certain things. And definitely, it's like on the spectrum, like racism on the spectrum. The misogyny definitely is on the spectrum.
Yeah, you just gotta be honest about it.
I'm sure even for women, there's a lot of internalized misogyny. They may not even realize that they perpetuate. So I'm sure it's something that we, men primarily, because we're the ones who are perpetuating it and are changing and passing laws and doing things that are making it much, 10 times worse. But
have the privilege to do so.
I think all of us collectively, men primarily, have to do better.
Yes. And I think we can leave it at that. Let's move on. Let's get to this. Let's get to some basketball here. Because we were just on this pod last week talking about, the United States of America, our basketball players are the best. And we probably going to win this FIBA tournament.
What? World champion.
We talked about Noah Lyles. It looks like Noah Lyles was correct.
He was getting animated. He was like, world champion of what?
And he was speaking facts. It's sad to say, but I have to admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. I thought that the United States of America, even if we weren't sending our best, we're still going to come out on top, and that was not the case. The United States of America, we have lost in this FIBA World Tournament, and we lost to Germany, who their best player was a man named Dennis Schroeder, and he ain't really shit in the league, but we lost to him and his crew. We still didn't send our best, so there's a caveat there. There's an asterisk, if you will.
Dog, like, come on. This is like, remember, you have all these teams. This is like sending the middle school team to go play at the championships of a basketball tournament, and they get to the semifinals and lose. You didn't send the varsity.
We didn't send our best.
You didn't send the varsity middle schoolers. You didn't send the frost off. You didn't send the JV. You didn't send the bench on varsity, and you didn't send the starters. You sent the middle school bench warmers, and they got to the semifinals. Now,
but go ahead.
Now, granted, right? They're getting better. Clearly, the rest of the world is getting better at basketball. Hooray.
Yes.
But until, we send the best, there's nothing to say.
That's why people are saying, like, for this upcoming Olympics that's going to go on next year. We're obviously not going to be able to just throw out, even though we have some starters on the team this year, we're not going to be able to just throw out anybody, all these 2-3 year, some of them were like 4-year players, but like the most veteran, the most seasoned player on the team was fucking Bobby Portis. He's not even a starter in the league. So like we're not going to be able to just roll out these like so-so, and they're good players, but we're not going to be able to roll out just like a few of the, some of the good talent and not send the greats of the league over to the Olympics, and that they're going to get the same outcome.
Because so
people are saying we're gonna need to have LeBron there. We're gonna have to have Steph there.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to throw in KD, Devin Booker.
They're gonna have to reestablish dominance. We're gonna have to make it very clear. Y'all did not win shit. They need to crush them. They need to bring out everybody and destroy them.
But the thing that I think that, like, when we were talking about that Noah Lyles conversation, the thing that I think he missed is that it's not like the NBA players that are going overseas to play in these tournaments and to play in the Olympics aren't playing against other NBA players. We lost to a team that had like 3 or 4 NBA players on the team. Like, sure, we're all NBA players on our team, whatever, but we're losing to other NBA players. It's not like the best players on the other team. Like the best team in the tournament this year has fucking Luka Doncic on the team. That he's the best player in the tournament. So if we lose to that team, like, what the fuck are you gonna say? Luka Doncic versus Anthony Edwards? Like, it's apples and oranges.
This almost, I don't know. This is almost just fugazi. Now that you've broken that down to me, then what is it? I know he's saying we're a champion. Or what? What does this honestly mean now? Then, if all these people are coming to the NBA, going to the NBA, playing against NBA level players that we know are the best in the world, and then going and playing other countries, that doesn't even seem legitimate anymore. Like,
it comes down to the conversation of where it's like you have to ask yourself, right? Are American players the best players in basketball now? And it's becoming more and more obvious that American players, if you think about like the top 5 of the NBA, there's probably like 1 or 2 American players in there.
That is an excellent point. I
guess think about like top 10.
I see what he's saying. I guess people are getting
it's like
confused.
half and half now.
Because
the world is becoming better.
Yeah.
Yes,
that makes sense.
The world is becoming better, and so when he's trying to bring up that conversation about that we're not going up against the world, well, if you actually look at the facts,
the world is already here.
Yeah. That's period point blank.
Just because they're playing in America,
this new kid,
don't mean they're not from somewhere else.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying just because they're playing in America doesn't mean they're not representing somewhere else. Just from their birth. And
exactly. Like I said last time, they don't play for us. They play for their own teams. If all the NBA players that are playing on foreign teams this year were playing for our team, you really think we're going to lose?
No, we ain't.
You think we're going to lose?
I still think we're not going to lose.
That would not happen.
Yeah.
If we had every single NBA player that was playing in this World Cup on our team and they play for the US, we not losing to these nobodies. They're not even in the league, bro. NBA is top league. It's top talent. We're not losing to them.
Yeah.
And now you got this new kid, Victor Wembanyama, supposed to be like the most coveted asset that we've ever seen. 7 foot tall.
Right.
Over 7 feet, actually. Could shoot the 3, could dribble, could put it on the floor, has all these moves. You think he playing for the US? No.
I think what's going to have to happen is I think it's because there's so much flexibility in players play over the world. It's going to be less country and more league. Which league is the world stage? Which league is cultivating the best players? I think is what's going to. I know NBA still is USA, but it's going to be less about where the players are from and more of the league itself as an independent.
Well, everybody's going to want to play for the NBA because the NBA number one has the most awareness,
most money. So that makes sense. But
most money too.
But if the rest of the world's getting better at basketball, there may eventually be an NBA competitor. Is what I'm saying.
No, because you have to groom talent in that country. The reason why the NBA has the best talent is because the best talent comes from the United States. You have some anecdotal stories where you get the Joel Embiids, the Jokic's, and the Doncic's, and the Greek Freaks and everything, and they come over to the NBA because they want to compete against the best. But you go to a fucking Serbian league, it's not compared to the NBA. You coming over here?
You think so? Because I think
yes, I know so.
You don't think Serbia?
Maybe 100 years from now.
You don't think Serbia? Like, what country would you say has the best chance to make a league that could at least be on the radar. None of these leagues ain't even on the radar.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you
because
they don't play for that league.
Doesn't mean shit.
They don't play for that league though. They play for the NBA. So if you're gonna if the best talent that's being groomed in whatever league, in whatever other league, is coming to play for our league, the fuck you gonna do? And then also the NBA is expanding. So if the NBA is gonna go over and start a league in fucking China or in fucking wherever else, that's still the NBA. You see what I'm saying?
It's kind of surprising they haven't done that yet. I think
they are.
Where are they going? Serbia, China?
They're in China right now. They're probably in other countries too, but to my understanding, like they do the most marketing in China. They send like there's a reason why like Kobe, LeBron, they're very famous in China. Mm-hmm. Steph, very famous in China. They do a lot of stuff over there. Yeah,
I know Kobe is super famous in China. That was still super famous in China, from what I understand. So I see your point. Now that you reframed it clearly. I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter talking about, man, they need to start going back to the hood and recruit again. They passing up on a lot of good talent. We need to take the NBA back from the Hornets.
No, our talent is fine. It's just imagine if LeBron played for another country. It's gonna be hard to beat that team. That's just what it is. If you have the best player in the fucking tournament, you have the better chance to win. That's just what it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just what it is. That's just how sports work. You want to get to this YSL Polo thing?
Yes. So I will let you.
Oh my God.
Man, so for those who don't know, I'm sure this has been happening for over a year now, if I understand correctly, or close to a year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The YSL label with Young Thug and Gunna and YSL Polo we were talking about, they all got hit with racketeering charges and people got murder charges and people accused of murder and drug dealing, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And we talked about earlier in the year, there was like someone tried to give Young Thug a perk. It was like all kinds of shenanigans going on in the courtroom.
Yep.
And so YSL Polo was in court today, and he was just like making faces and just looking around and just making all these noises and like they're about to sentence. We're getting close to sentencing. We're about to conviction, not sentencing. We're getting close to a conviction. And I'm like, dude, you doing this? First off, your acting is terrible, and you need to have been trying to do this from day one. And
it was too late.
It was too late. The history had to have been there like, man, this dude's always been a little crazy. He's always been something's off about that dude.
He tried to turn it on at the last second. Would you ever try to plead? Would you ever try to act like you were insane in order to get off the case? Because this nigga was up for murder.
I ain't going to jail, period, because I'm not a criminal. But if something ever happened where it was like, like someone like, I don't know, man. If I went to jail, it would be like from something I believe. Like if I got drafted, I ain't going to fight for America.
I'm not probably gonna act that late into it. Like you said, I would have to turn that on like from the get go, and also I would have been studying. That nigga was trying to do moves like I ain't never seen, like all the finger movements and stuff. He was like pop locking or something.
Yeah, he was doing all kinds of.
I don't even understand like what he was trying to get at. I'm not familiar with YSL Polo. Maybe he does have a little bit of insanity in him, because in order to try to pull that off, you gotta be a little insane to me. You gotta be a little crazy to actually think you're gonna pull that off. That shit ain't popping off.
It was just
the judge
goofy.
was calling it out too.
It was just too goofy, man.
Is this the same lawyer that was representing a Young Thug?
I think it was the same lawyer.
That nigga probably was the one that was like, well, if you just act insane, there's actually a clause in the law that says that he has to send you to the insane asylum. He probably tried to trick him into doing that shit.
Dude, what do you? I just couldn't embarrass myself like that. Like even if you go into prison for the rest of your life, you're gonna be in jail. They be like, that's the dude. That's the guy who's in court acting crazy.
I would have been studying Charles Manson and all of them, bro. I would have been watching movies and film. I would have been studying film in order to get my
How you gonna watch
together.
the film from 4 Concrete Walls?
You seen these fucking clips that we be seeing coming out of prison? They got cell phones and video games and everything, bro. They could get some shit in there.
I'm aware though. I do know these dudes got smartphones. These dudes got TVs, all kinds of stuff.
If they needed to, they were able to sneak a perk in the fucking
how did they get
the courtroom?
Where are they hiding a 50-inch when it's time for the prison search? They're allowing that to go down.
I don't know. It must be just okay with the guards or whatever. I don't know. I never been to prison. I don't know nobody in prison either. I don't even know.
I just don't know, man. Like imagine like you got hit with, like if you knew you were facing like 100 years for some bullshit. What if it was just like you were framed?
Murder.
What would you do?
I'm going to jail. I'm a black man. I'm going to jail.
Like how many black men do you know who actually legitimately got pleaded off, or not pleaded off, but they got sentenced to like a insane asylum for being crazy?
Not an insane asylum, but OJ got off on them charges. That's the only thing you got to say.
He got off. I thought he got off because the glove didn't fit. I don't know enough about the OJ case.
He still got off with double homicide. Double homicide? A black man?
He said the glove didn't fit.
Glove don't fit, you must have quit.
But that's all I really gotta say about this. I just think it's hilarious. I just think it's like, I'm not laughing at a black man's going down. Now, if he did some, I don't know enough about this.
He got sentenced for murder, bro. He got convicted for murder. Ain't
my question is like about these dudes, like especially like Young Thug. Like, my dude, like, I know you're a multimillionaire. Why do you need to do all this stuff he's talking about in the music? Like, what? I don't know. Is it addicting? It kind of reminds me of I'm forgetting her name, but there was a black woman in the 80s. She was like a black kingpin. She was like one of the, I think she's like one of the only like American, like she was on some American gangster stuff, like that American Gangster movie, like in the 80s. And she had gotten to the point where she had made so many millions. She had made so much money from the drug dealing that she went legitimate and started like a black hair business, was making millions off of that. Mm-hmm. She lived like in Beverly Hills. She had like 50, 60 million in the bank or something like that, or assets. And somebody was like, hey man, this is one last drug deal. You want to do it? She was like, yeah. And she did it and got caught and went to jail for like decades.
That's how it works.
I was like, why? And she was like, she wanted the thrill of it. Maybe that's what it was. It's like, what like thrill? Booty. You making millions legitimately. Fuck do you need booty. To do a crime for?
She wanted the booty.
Imagine how rich, because she's still alive. Imagine how rich she would be right now, and she had decades to take over the black hair care industry. Like, dude, just think about it.
Oh well. Let's talk about this AI Drake thing, because everybody remembers when I think this was like April or sometime in the fall or sometime in the spring. There was a song that was an AI generated song starring Drake and The Weeknd. And that artist put up his song for Grammy eligibility, and it's actually going to be eligible for the Grammys. So I think it's up for like best song or best rap song.
I'm not surprised. I mean, the song was a slapper. I'm really not surprised I'm a little surprised that they're allowing it, but by their rules and guidelines, it was written by a human being. What can you really say?
Yeah, but didn't the Grammys just come out and say like, yeah, it has to have like a certain percentage of human involvement in order for us to even consider it to be eligible? Didn't they just come out and say that?
They did, and
it was in response to this very song.
Yes, and it was.
And now they're saying that because it was prompted by a human that it's eligible. It's kind of conflicting here. It's kind of conflicting. I think it sets up a bad precedent. Even though I was the one that was saying like I don't really think it matters that much that people are trying to AI generate the songs using the likeness of other people, but I only said that because I didn't think that this shit was going to be eligible. You can't be, bro. If I had like deep fake on and I was like LeBron James or Stephen A. Smith, because he does talk, and I was saying all types of outlandish shit and stuff, I can't be nominated for an Emmy award or anything like that. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. Just because it's a human being and I'm the one that's saying the words and stuff. I think
it's different.
What's the difference?
It's if you just got on, like, I guess maybe, what kind of award would Stephen A. Smith would win?
Like an Emmy or something. I don't know.
Well, how is an Emmy for like TV shows and acting? Yeah. He's like a sports analyst personality.
I'm just saying, like, if I were to be portraying myself as somebody that I'm not, I shouldn't be eligible for an award. And I don't even know if they're gonna, like, is it gonna be a Drake award? Like, are they gonna give it to the writer of the song?
They're gonna give it to the writer.
That's what I'm confused about.
It's not gonna be a Drake award. They're gonna give it to the writer of the song.
But like, I used somebody else's likeness in order to make that song. I can't be winning off of somebody else's talent. Sure, I wrote the song, but like, I didn't work with Drake. Like, that's copyright almost. And I know, like, I sound like I'm going to hypocritical because I'm going backwards on what I said.
That's probably what's going to happen though, is that OVO is going to sue them if they get nominated. So it's not going to get
they still haven't responded.
Drake
or The Weeknd still haven't responded yet.
It ain't going to get nominated. If it does, they're going to get sued by OVO. It's too easy. It's like, they're using my likeness. This is illegitimate. You're going to set a standard.
Everybody's going to catch this wave for sure. And they're going to be using everybody without any permission, without any sign-offs, without any like licensing rights. That's very, very dangerous. That's very, very dangerous. And we already are in a state of music right now where nobody even has talent. So you're just gonna be stealing people's music. That, you know how bad the music is gonna be. But then again, like, you never know though, because like there could be a talented writer out there who really makes good songs, and just needs somebody to like, imagine if like there's like the most talented writer out there who's just never been discovered. And all of a sudden, because they can use AI generated Drake verses and Beyonce verses and Taylor Swift verses, now all of a sudden they're recognized. That actually would be pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to this Kendrick Lamar shit.
Speaking of
Kendrick Lamar, there was a leak that released today, or not today, but this week about from Element, the original Element verse, and he was dissing a lot of people. French Montana, Big Sean.
What did he say about Big Sean? I'm trying to remember exactly what he said about Big Sean.
The one that I picked up on is that he said he's only famous because of who he's dating.
That's what he said. Yeah, I thought that was more about. Wasn't he still dating Ariana in 2016? Or was he dating?
I mean, I don't think so. I think he was dating Ariana in maybe like 2015.
But it's still relevant though, because it really doesn't matter who they are. He dates famous women, so he's still getting his ass. It really doesn't. I mean, Ariana is more famous than Jhené Aiko, but yeah, he was like, man, that Meek Mill and Drake beef got you amped up. If you talk shit, I'll fuck you up.
He was like, get your puberty up.
Get your puberty up. He said his bars were trash. He said he was a weak rapper. He was talking like he went hard.
Which is
on
all
him.
facts too. Which is all facts. I agree with him. I agree with him on that.
Yeah, compared to Kendrick, he's nothing. Like that's like, going back to the basketball topic a little bit. They sent Big Sean to go represent them. They didn't send Kendrick. They didn't send J. Cole. They sent Big Sean.
What did you have to say to Kendrick?
I mostly think my problem I had with Kendrick is I just felt like, why record something like this and not release it? It's like, and then the actual Element song was kind of related to it. He said, if I gotta slap a pussy ass nigga, I'm gonna make it look sexy. So you still can wonder if like him saying that is like, is he thinking about Jay Electronica? Is he thinking about Big Sean? Is he thinking about French Montana when he's saying, if I gotta slap a pussy ass nigga, I'm gonna make it look sexy? If I gotta go hard on a bitch, I'm gonna make it look sexy. Remember, that's what came out. We just explained the original verse. I think it's weak. I think it's soft. Like, if you're going to talk about somebody, name them. Like, we see too much subliminal bullshit in rap these days. Drake is the biggest person. But the thing about Drake, though, he's been in battles, though. You can't say he has not been in battles. But he constantly is just talking shit. Every Drake song got a sneak diss in there. Almost every Drake song has at least one sneak diss in there.
Some of them aren't even sneaks. He don't really be saying the name, so I guess that's what you mean by sneak. But some of them don't even be sneaky. That Meg Thee Stallion diss was not sneaky, bro. We all knew who he was talking about. That Jay Prince verse when he was trying to diss Kanye about the Jay Prince. I only did that shit for Jay Prince. That's not sneaky. We all know who you're talking about. Drake is really the only one nowadays that really be getting into rapper beef. He had the Meek Mill beef. Mm-hmm. He probably goes further than that, actually. Trying to think if he was beefing with anybody like around like 2013 time. But he had the Meek Mill. He had the Pusha T.
Him and Kendrick, I think, have had a little low-key beef, too. At least that's what people say. I'm not
He never said anything about Kendrick. He's not going to go after Kendrick. So to your point about, like, why wouldn't Kendrick just come out and say it? Just put out the verse. It's because if you the GOAT, you don't really need to be starting beefs with anybody. You leave that to the lower people.
But why even
record it,
though?
It's like when LeBron... Huh?
Why even record it, though? You get off your chest?
Because I got to get my shit off. Get my shit off. And I don't have to use everything I come up with. I can get my shit off in the studio, and then, if it gets leaked or whatever, that's just what happened. But it's almost like that LeBron situation last year in the playoffs. If Dylan Brooks is gonna come out and try to say his shit, I'm LeBron James. I'm not gonna try to. What the fuck is Dylan Brooks doing in my mouth? Pause.
Like you should know already. The stats speak for themselves. The history, the rings, like
I leave that to the irrelevant people. If the irrelevant people want to pick a beef with me, go ahead, because I'm waiting. I'm the GOAT. We all know Kendrick is the GOAT right now. I mean, it's sad to say because I'm a Drake stan, and I want to say that Drake is the best rapper alive.
He is the living
it's Kendrick.
GOAT right
it's
now.
Kendrick.
He is the living GOAT.
So if I'm the GOAT, I don't need to. I'm not worried about the peasants. What's the line? What's the phrase where they say like what's that Jay-Z verse where he was like, what's a king to a god or some shit?
Yeah,
like
what's
that.
a god to a king?
Yeah.
What's a king to a god? What's
They don't
a
have to
god
be in my
a
mouth.
non-believer? Yeah, I'm just, and then but my problem is like, I kind of like rap beefs, not the ones that lead to people getting killed, but like just the spirit of rap and its origins. I feel like Tupac, of course Tupac, but Ice Cube for real would call you out by name. He would call you a bitch, like straight up, and say your name.
What you mean, Tupac too?
Yeah, like
I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, he said on King on the King of the Hill. There's a song called King of the Hill with Ice Cube was on. He was talking about the dudes from Cypress Hill, and he called the Be Real dude. He said Be Real stands for the B, and Be Real stands for bitch. Straight up. On No Vaseline, he was. I don't know if that was a movie version, but I think even on the original version, it was very clear who he was talking about. Like it wasn't. It was like it was a little more subliminal, but it was still direct enough where it's like, all right, we know, like everybody knows what they were talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't think rapper beef is as big as it used to be. I don't think people really care about that anymore. I think that it's more pussy. I think that it's more same with like anything. I think that our generation, and they're not in the same generation as us, but like I think modern day, like niggas are just a little softer. You know, we're not really looking for conflict like that. Even in the NBA, like people have that criticism about the NBA, like higher levels of competition, you expect for there to be like a certain level of animosity. Nowadays, you're not really picking fights. You actually shaking hands with niggas.
Money.
You hugging niggas and kissing niggas now.
In sports, and you know what? You're right. Because like you're in the same profession. You guys, you should be a good sport about whoever's leading in whatever profession or whatever sport.
Yeah, but this is the sport.
Makes sense.
If we rappers,
but rapping has a battle. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a way to do it without it. There need to be hard feelings. I just feel like even with the Eminem beef with MGK, like people really was hyped for that. Like I feel like there's an excitement when there's like, well, there's no need to fight. We're gonna go bar for bar. I'm gonna end you. If it's over, it's over. There's nothing to say. We don't have to take it off the mic. And they can't really
rap like that anymore. They can't really rap like that.
That's a good point.
Like,
most of them can't really rap like that.
I got to get my writers and I got to get my team together. It takes me a whole season to get a song together. They don't have it like that no more. Tupac, you've seen the journals. Tupac would just be writing shit. Ice Cube just writing shit. Jay-Z don't even need to write shit. Just be stepping in the studio. Lil Wayne just step in the studio and set it off. Nobody got it like that no more.
Yeah.
Who the hell is going to be able to turn up
bar for bar?
That's why the only people we seen do it recent time is Meek Mill, Drake, Eminem,
the MGK. Even though he's like a rocker boy.
Fuck
now.
MGK.
He can rap though. You can say what you want about him. He was
fuck out of here.
I thought he was getting after him. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I like that song.
You don't have to send me the verse. You have to send me the verse because I don't believe you.
You haven't listened to that song? That song was big when it came. That's like his biggest song. Maybe not anymore, but at that time, that was like his biggest. Him going after Eminem because he said he was like.
I'm not listening to no MGK.
Blackballed him.
I'm sorry. I'm not listening to no MGK verse. I'm sorry. Can't do it.
But I got respect for him because in modern times, he's like one of the only people who really will, especially going after Eminem, and he still has a career now. He's not in rap anymore, but like
that says something, don't it?
But I feel like the MGK and the Post Malone thing is a whole different topic to me. We can go into a whole other conversation about like the white guys who get into rap, they get famous off of rap, and they're like, all right, now I'm gonna make the music I've always wanted to make that I would have never got famous for. That's like, Joe Rogan, Fear Factor. Now I'm gonna go into podcasting. I got my base. I'm out of here. I got my clout. I can do whatever I want now. It's the same shit to me. I feel like it's the same shit.
Let's get to that Equalizer 3 conversation here.
So yeah, real quick, and I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't seen it. This is really for the people who have seen 1 and 2 and kind of want, my quick 2-minute thoughts. I thought it was a solid movie. I thought it was better than 2. 1 is always gonna be a classic to me. And it's really just like if you like that older man, it's like a John Wick kind of thing, like older man who just like is a veteran of a very deadly profession. It's fucking people up. Like this movie was violent. Like for people who thought 1 and 2 were violent, this movie was damn near a slasher. This movie felt like horror at times. It felt like a horror movie, but the people being killed were like just evil men. And they like running through the hall, like sniped in the head, axe thrown at the head, push a knife to the neck. He was like pulling people with like steel wires and choking them out till the head came off. I was like, God damn, shit like that, man. But I thought this movie was much more down to earth. It was much more of a people movie in terms of him connecting with people. For those who haven't seen the trailers, small spoiler, skip 10 seconds. But he goes to Italy for plot reasons, and he comes across like a small village, and it's about him like defending the village. So yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say. But for people who haven't seen the Equalizer movies, think if Batman was an older man and he didn't wear a mask.
John Wick. Stop.
No.
Think John Wick.
All right, let me move.
Born Identity.
Let me move. Well, yeah.
It's the same shit.
It's like, you know what? It's like Punisher It's like an old man Punisher. That's what it is. That's really what it is. But it's like, it's less like he just with guns, with no tact, with no grace. He's just like a quiet ass. You know, I'm trying to think of like, remember in Breaking Bad when he was like, yeah, man, if you don't get this money to my kids, he's going to just hear like a brush and a step and it's going to be all over. That's him. He's the dude that Walter White was talking about. You just going to hear a scuffle behind you and it's over. Black. That's him. That whole movie was just dudes walking on guard, a brush and a step, and he's just dead. Or a brush and a step and just a bullet in the brain. And then they just looking around. It's like that Hitman game. But like he's like the best Hitman game player ever in his real life. That's what the Equalizer movies are. It's rare he's in like a real scrap. He'll set a trap. You hear a noise and you look to the left. He was really on the right, dead. And he's Denzel, so he got the swag and the charisma. But I don't know, man. You know, people say Denzel's acting is like, he's just playing himself or he's the same in every movie. I feel like in an I know you haven't seen it, but if you watch the movies ever, you understand what I'm saying. What do you mean?
People say that Denzel plays the same character.
I've heard
in every
people
movie.
say that he just like plays himself in movies.
Irrelevant. I ignore that. I ignore that.
Yeah, they probably just watch a lot of his more like charismatic kind of roles and just think like they haven't seen like
stupid.
They haven't really seen a lot of his movies. They haven't seen.
Sounds stupid.
Yeah.
That's a stupid take. That's
what people say.
Take. That's like saying Tarantino makes the same film every single time.
That's movie, a stupid take. He has like these dead eyes going on because he's like a killer. Like he's like a former CIA like black site just mass murderer. But he has like this dead eye, like, and they zoom in on his eyes and it almost looks like he's like a blind character. His eyes are just dead. Like you just look at his eyes and he just like, he nails it. He just has he just be looking sometimes and the movie just like, especially when he's killing people, he just like his soul is gone when he's killing people and he nails it so fucking well. It's like scary. I don't even think Keanu and John Wick can nail it. Like when he nails that like mass killer shit, it's like, fuck, especially in this movie. He just be hunched over, just like looking crazy. Like the light has left his eyes. It's just a monster is here. I'm like, fuck, man. He would be a crazy horror movie villain. If he ever did a horror movie, he would fuck that shit up because he has that look in his eye. That's all I wanted to say. A great movie. One criticism I had is I felt like they spent a lot of time with the people because he was giving people chances in this one. And 1 and 2, it's like evil person, all right, I'm gonna fuck you up. And he usually don't kill you. He'll just break your arm, break your fucking leg. He's exactly like, you know how like they said Batman is like somebody, he jaywalked, I'm gonna fuck him up. He's kind of like that, but he's not gonna beat up somebody jaywalking. But if you very clearly were a bad person, he gonna break your fucking leg. Like he probably won't kill you, and he'll give you a chance. He's like, if I see you out here again, bro, your head's gonna be on the spike. I'm just gonna let you know. But that's all I gotta say.
Game. You speak a good
Let's
game.
Move to deep cuts. Okay.
All right, people. About to get out of here. You already know what it is. You can find us same place, same time next week for another new episode of the Top Tier Podcast. Peace.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.